Welcome to the 100th Mile podcast. It is now day 6 and I am near Turin, joined today by race organiser Ian Toe and 2 of the volunteers with me today to give a bit more insight. We've got Marjorie and Katharina. We have a lot of exciting content to go through today. Neil Copeland from Dot Watcher out, who's caught up with Will Dixon at Refuge 1 in Labezi. It'll be really interesting to see how he's going. And Fiona, another one of our rookie road riders, we have a feature on her today. Obviously, Ian's going to be giving another one of the Hannibal segments of the day, and we'll be looking at the riders and what's happened in the last 24 hours. So first of all, our guest today. First of all, you, Marjorie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Then I do some cycling I do some cycling since several years. Subscribed for my first race. It was during the COVID, and I was sure that the race was cancelled, and that's why I subscribed for it. It was just a goal, but the race didn't cancel, and I have to go for the race, and it was so cool. It was a race across France for 350 kilometers.
That's a big first race.
Yeah, it was so cool. I arrived in the night at the top of the Mont Ventoux, and I just want to continue. But the organizer said, no, it's finished for you now, and you come back next year. Then I come back next year for 1,000 kilometers. And since I love it, I did a lot of ultra cycling, and what I love is to share. Then I take every year I take my camera on my bike and do some videos for the other.
Yeah, you're quite an influencer, aren't you? Do you want to tell everyone about your social media?
Yeah, my name is Maki Cycling, like the sushi.
Okay.
It's
M-A-K-Y.
Yeah,
M-A-K-Y.
exactly.
Cool. Katharina, tell us your story.
Basically, I followed some riders. I like cycling in general, like all kinds of cycling, from road racing to mountain biking and I don't know, local delicate. So this was just another thing for me, and my friend was doing volunteering for another ultra race last year, and I just joined as well. And then I did another, and this is my first time volunteering like this, and it's really nice. And I hope to race my first race this October.
Oh, it's not a bad way to get an insight into it, watching from here. Okay, let's go into some of the movements over the last 24 hours. Ian, can you talk us through the men's race and what we've been looking at?
So, at the moment, we still have Adam Bialek out in front in first place. We have Lucas Becker and Will Vousden, who are pretty much neck and neck for second and third. It's very difficult to distinguish between who's ahead.
They're on slightly different routes, aren't they?
They are on almost parallel routes, north and south of each other. Then you have Bruno Vicht and Rob Roy Cameron for fourth place.
Still very tight at the back there, isn't it?
It is. And then you have Christian Jakobek, who has passed Michele Pagano, followed by Mark Buchel, Chris Thomas, Ivan Nordenbaum, seems to be enjoying himself, and then Jair Hoogland, Alex Grohl, and Johanni Sario.
Well, there we go. We've definitely got a race on in the men's category for at least the minor places. We are ourselves up at the second refuge, and we have raced up here because the leader, Adam Bialek, is probably only 200 kilometers away now. He has surged ahead of the field. So we will keep you posted, and imagine he will come in sometime later tonight, which is quite remarkable, really. That's the men's race. Ladies, do you want to give us an overview of what's happening in the women's race?
Yeah, this is really nice to follow the woman on the race. The first is Joanna today. She just passed Toulouse and come to us for several days. And after her there is Saz Harris. She's just past the Labezi. Yes. And a little bit further there is there is Anissa Aubin. You want to share the next?
The next one, I think for it, a woman is Fiona Shorten. She's just approaching the border between Spain and France. I go next, let me see. Then we have Green Sheena Kartik. And then we have Sophie Gateux.
Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, all the women up there. So I think that's a good opportunity to have a look at our 4th place lady, Fiona Shorten, who is one of the rookie road riders in the race. I caught up with her before we started, and she gave us a bit of an insight into what makes her tick. So have a watch of this video.
I'm Fiona, I'm from North West. School, I always thought like sports isn't for me because I'm not a runner. I used to come last on sports day. I don't do team sports. So in lockdown I wanted to do a triathlon, so I learnt to swim, run and got a bike. And then the beginning of last year I had a bit of an injury of running, so I just went full pelt with biking, and I did my first bikepacking trip last May. I went down the Rhine by myself and I loved it, and then I did my first ultra in October, and yeah, just kind of got a bit hooked on cycling. I was on a lot of antidepressants since about 16, and I had a breakdown and I really struggled, and then a few years ago I got diagnosed as autistic, and something clicked and it just everything kind of makes sense. And then since then I've managed to come off like all my medication and I'm not on anything now, and cycling isn't kind of the solution to all my problems, but it's been really helpful. It's kind of given me an outlet. On the bike I'm free, I'm just me and I'm just pedaling, and I don't have to mask, I don't have to like conform, and there's something about it that kind of is really soothing. And also it's allowed me to meet people and kind of socialise in the ways like I hadn't before, because I've got something in common with them. And when you're on the bike and you're cycling with someone, then you're not like having to maintain eye contact, there's kind of natural breaks in the conversations. One of the main things, apart from the obvious physical problems that I might have, a lot of it is, where am I going to sleep? I don't know. What am I going to eat? Are there going to be restaurants? Will there be food I like? Will I want to eat the food? Like, will it be my safe food? Like, I think that's played on my mind a lot, and I'm just like, I'm getting quite determined, and I know I will like push through, but there will be points where I'll have a meltdown and I'll be in tears by the side of the road, and like something small, and then I won't be able to cope with it, and it will blow up in my mind. 4,000 kilometres is a lot longer than anything I've ever done. Just to get to Refuge 1 would be the longest ride by far that I've ever done. This isn't a race to me, this is a ride to me, this is an adventure. Just seeing how far I can go, it would be amazing to make it the whole way.
Over to you, Ian. Do you want to tell us about how Wayne's getting on?
Wayne seems to have stopped for quite some time. He's had some more tyre issues, and his prosthetic is causing him some problems, but he's still moving towards Pamplona.
Okay, well, we're wishing Wayne luck. We'll catch up with him very soon. And our last category, the pairs. Tell us what's been happening here.
So the Swiss pair, Remo Koch and Michel Bucheli, are more than halfway between Le Béziers and Pas de Perrault, which is the next gate, the 6th gate. They're followed by Wally, Gualtier Rossano and Alberto Vaghi, the Italian pair, who are at the bottom of the climb, the Col de Pesant, where the 4th gate is. They're closely followed, maybe only something in the region of 15 kilometres behind, Matt Downey and Harry Johnson, who, as they say, the boys back in town together. They don't seem to be making too much headway on the Swiss pair. And I know that was a big ambition of theirs to close that 300k. Still a long way to go, but
that's very interesting. I'm really keen to catch up with them and see what's happening, because I think Harry might be quite exhausted after the chase that he's put in to catch up with Matt.
Absolutely. And then you have Daniele Mezzapesa and Filippo Lolaico, who are approaching the 3rd gate of the Pyrenees, the Col de Portalet.
All to play for. Right, it is that time of the day. It's Hannibal's segment with Ian. What have you got for us today, Ian?
Okay, I thought I'd make this a themed one and very appropriate to where we are today at the Velodromo Francone. It's situated just outside of Torino, or Turin, if you like. Now, many people don't know that at this point in time, 218 BCE, the Italians, the Romans, did not dominate the entirety of the Italian peninsula, and actually they hadn't pushed much further than the Apennines to their north. In fact, the north of Italy was mostly populated by the Gauls, and in the south you had many Greek cities. So when Hannibal had crossed over the Alps, he actually encountered many Gallic tribes, and he needed to resupply his army. He needed to rest, water, feed all his elephants, and he had called on the Torini to assist him in recovering all his army's strength. But the Torini shut their gates and refused to allow him to resupply. So he stormed the city of, well, what is now Torino, and completely sacked the city, taking what he needed. So he had made them an example rather than allowing the Gauls to resist him, and then he had many more reinforcements from the local area.
There we go. Very relevant to where we are today. Thank you, Ian. As I mentioned earlier, Neil Copeland from Dot Watcher has headed over to Le Béziers, to the refuge, where he's met up with Will Dixon, who I think is very grateful of a rest. So have a look at that interview that Neil had with Will earlier today.
I'm here with Will Dixon.
Camped outside of this town somewhere in the Pyrenees, and to be honest, I was every road sign or rock or tree I was looking at, I was like, that's a bear. Oh no, it's not. No, it's that road sign again. It's that same one.
You seen anything else other than bears?
In my head, I've seen bears. No, I do double take every animal. I'm like, is that a deer? Oh no, that really is a deer stood in the road. You know, cows, cats, everything's out there. I've had a lot of probably emotional talks with the GoPro. The GoPro's become my therapist. Yeah.
What would you say to Will of 5 days ago?
Probably would have said, boy, you don't know what you're in for. This is all you couldn't even imagine. Although I'm probably not playing being super positive, because in some ways I really see the appeal to this. Way too early to say I would do it again. I know I've got to go and do it again. I've got to get back out there. But I do like the kind of monotony of just keep the pedals turning, like the efficiency, small stops, efficient sleep schedule, just always pedaling, even if it's soft miles, soft tapping. To be honest, this feels incredible. I think that's the other thing, it's just you become super grateful for everything. I'm just so pumped on that first shower for 5 days, mate, to be honest. I feel sorry for every person that has shared the Lidl with me. Must be awful. Stood at the checkout whilst I'm picking up my next batch of pizzas and croissants. Clippos were a good move, I thought, on day one when it was really hot and I had them down my back, down my top, and then until I realised that the Clippos with the paper lid, they don't do so well. With repetitive stress, they'll fail, and then you just end up with this sticky Calippo mess just dribbling down all of you, and I'm like, dude, my ass is just a Calippo sticky mess. yeah, I'm gonna tell you all the details, but I was like, oh shit, I was just I can't tell if that's chafing or if that's just sticky Calippo mess. Oh, I have to lie, otherwise I'll cry at this whole situation. It's just so ridiculous.
Okay, ladies, I'm keen to hear what you've been watching and who you're interested in this race, who you've been following, and the most exciting stories in your eyes.
For me, I follow the woman, but especially Grinchina. I love his story on Instagram, and also the picture of Sophie Gâteau. And I follow my friend Hiet, He's near to Toulouse, I think now, and I meet him on the last Desertus Bikers, and I'm looking forward to see him.
So welcoming him to the second refuge.
Exactly.
How long do you think he'll be? How long will it take him to get here?
I don't know. He has to enjoy the ride. It's the most important.
And what do you like about the women you mentioned at the back of the field, like Sophie and Grinshina?
Sophie Gatto, I follow her since a long time, and she really do some beautiful picture. It's really nice. And Grinshina is look like a great person. Every time she tell about the day, the condition, and what she see, and she always positive, and I love that.
Of course, Nikki Shaw, which I'm very sorry that she's out of the race, but glad she's okay. Then, of course, Alan Shaw on his beautiful Omnium cargo bike. And
have you met Alan?
I know him from social media. He's really nice person, funny guy, good pictures. So I think he's doing more than good. He's not far behind like strong riders on a normal bikes. Of course, he's not nowhere to compare with Adam Bialek, but that goes without saying, because as it looks now, it's Adam Bialek against all the humans.
A couple of days ago, you heard that Alan was thinking of scratching from the race. He was struggling.
Yeah, I think he was struggling like many people with the heat, and naturally being on a cargo bike, being a bit slower and needing to expend more energy. He was stuck in the hot plains of Spain for far longer than the fastest riders, and he did get in contact and say, oh, well, I might be just touring this rather than racing it. So we'll see how far he gets. But best of luck to him. I mean, it's an incredible feat to just think about taking on a challenge like this. 4,000 kilometers on a cargo bike.
He's really accelerated actually. I think he must be feeling a lot better.
Yes, I think he feels better in the mountains, which is almost ridiculous if you think about the cargo bike. But yeah, I really look forward to him coming here.
And he's not the only person on an unconventional bicycle, is he, Ian?
That's right. Approaching Pamplona, you have David Sherrington on his Brompton.
Oh.
So we have a cargo bike and a Brompton and a paracyclist, all special people. And we did joke at the beginning that if David broke down, he could just pop his bike on Alan's, and Alan could just take him to the finish.
I think there is one other thing we have to mention today. In the top 10, we have lost Paolo.
Yes.
Paolo's been suffering. He's had some sores. Paolo Botti. I'll try not to say Paolo sore Botti too often.
And you did?
I did just say it. But we do feel very sorry for him. I think he came into the race with that injury or infection.
He came into the race, which we didn't know about this until I spoke to him earlier today. So he got in touch with us just to say he needed to scratch. He hadn't told us that he was suffering from something like a cyst on his sore body.
Oh.
And the heat did not help. Obviously, it's not going to help anybody. It hasn't helped a lot of riders. It's slowed them all down. But for him, he rode really strongly, and even with his, let's say, slightly naughty diversion up the Band Road and back down again, he was riding super strong in third place for a very long time. So with an injury like that and being in third behind some super strong riders, we hope he comes back next year. I've already said so to him. And he has an even better performance with better health. So hopefully we'll be able to catch up with him in a number of days when he's back home in Modena.
I met Adam Bialek last year doing another very altitude demanding race, and he was winning until he punctured, I think, 3 times and ran out of his tubes and his tubeless, and everything went bad.
And his pump broke.
Oh, really? Even this? Okay. Yes. but I think Adam now is riding even stronger than I expected him to. So
He is riding really,
it's-
really well, isn't he? But we know he's fantastic on road. There's no question about that.
Yes.
But what you're talking about there is his bad luck off-road, and I think a few of us were a little bit apprehensive about what might happen this afternoon, because he has just crossed the Italian border, and the route he took was not on the paved road, was it? And he's
Okay.
riding a road bike. He's
Yes.
riding in road shoes.
Yes.
So there's some
His
jeopardy
Giro
there.
shoes. I
Let's-
still remember his Giro shoes from last
That's
year.
it, in his Giro road shoes. So we'll touch wood. We'll hope nothing happens to him. But it's a precarious part of the journey for him. He's doing a bit of the rough stuff.
Yes, but there has to be some fun to your life.
There has to be some fun. Well, I don't know. Maybe
Even Germans have
maybe
fun.
maybe he thinks he's so far ahead he can have some fun. What are your thoughts here?
So Adam is approaching Nivolet from the north, and he has a road climb to start with, followed by 3 kilometers of probably just walking his bike or hiking with his bike on his back, followed by some gravel, and then he'll be at the top of Nivolet, and that's where the 8th gate is. It's an interesting choice. I know he doesn't like off-road. This is not a mandatory parkour. Riders can have the choice of approaching from the north, the west, or the roadway from the east, where you have to go past this place first, the Velodromo Francone, which is just outside Turin. But that does mean an out and back, so he would have to climb up and then come back down exactly the same way, which is longer, but it's also smoother. And the risk is, if he hike bikes, then he may damage his road shoes, his cleats, he may damage his bike, his tyres. So there's a big risk involved, and there's still something in the region of 1,200 kilometres to go from here.
It's worth noting he's travelling very light, isn't he? In terms of, he doesn't have a sleeping bag, he doesn't have warm clothing, he's high up in the mountains, there are some clouds above us, the weather could change, so this is a precarious moment here for Adam
Absolutely.
Bialek.
We have rain forecast here for the evening and the night, so his ultralight setup with cyclist bags means that he may not be able to cross, or he may suffer a lot. He confessed to us that he had stopped at a petrol station. He got so cold at 5 degrees that he had to wrap himself in his sleeping bag. He's not the only one to be travelling ultralight. He is leading, but we do wonder about his safety up there at 2,600 metres.
Well, there's a lot of talk about Adam. Is there anyone else who you've been watching in the race? Any stories that you think are quite inspiring or interesting?
Well, I of course cheer for as for Adam, also for Lucas Becker and Bill Vousden. Bill and Lucas are battling for second place, and it's very tight. And now they are taking different routes, so it's really nice. And I wonder how they will cross the Alps to come to us. So yes, it will be tight, and I even hope they maybe get faster and do some time on Adam, so they maybe can battle even for the first. But
Well,
Adam is really strong. It's hard.
hold your predictions for a minute, because I'll
Okay.
get your predictions at the end.
Okay.
Thank you to Refuge One at Le Béziers. And I know you've been there before, haven't you?
Yeah, 1 year before. It was so cool, and James and Amy are really, really great people. And yeah, it's really nice to cycle there.
I think there might be a lot of riders, myself including, going back there because it's so relaxing. I don't know how any of them are managing to get up and carry on, because it's just a wonderful place to rest and sleep. That leaves us with one last thing to do, and that is to make our predictions for tomorrow. And I'm giving you each one prediction. So, ladies, what do you think we'll see happen in the next 24 hours?
And for me, I think that Adam will arrive here before midnight.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a pretty safe bet.
Mine is that Alan Shaw will go even faster than he did today, and maybe team up with Cesare Pedrini, who's the other guy I'm not watching, and doing good race.
He's definitely moving faster, isn't he, Alan?
Yes.
He's moving
He's
through
a
the field.
beast.
He's a beast. Although the bike is light for a cargo bike, it's heavy. So he's got some climbing to do with that.
Yeah.
Might be a bit of a disadvantage. We will watch that closely. Ian, what's your one prediction for tomorrow?
I think Lucas Becker will overtake Will Vousden for second. He's looking fresher, he's moving faster. I think sleeping more will really help him if he focuses and doesn't stop so much.
I'm going to make my prediction in the pairs category, and I think Matt and Harry will make up some ground on second place, but they will remain in third, but close that gap. That's plenty of analysis for today, but we will be back with lots more tomorrow. Ladies, thank you for coming and joining us today.
Thank you.
Good luck welcoming all the riders in and all the jobs we've got to do around the refuge. From Ian and myself, ladies, that is goodbye. Ciao.